So, do we have a countdown? Shall we count down? 3, 2, 1. Yay!
Teresa Haag from Phoenixville. I'm the artist. This is my mural. I grew up in a very industrial, blue-collar sort of town or city in upstate New York. So I've always connected to industrial scenes, the roots where people kind of come from, really basic things of daily life. That's what all of my normal paintings are of, the subject matter that I typically paint. So it started with a very brief conversation with a friend of mine, Michael Riley Hill. He approached me about it. He sits on the beautification committee in town here, a beautification advisory. And he said, "Hey Teresa, we're looking for some muralists, any interest?" And I sort of said, sure, I'm always up for new opportunities and learning about them at least. So I went to a meeting, met all of the committee members, Lou Beccaria, who's amazing, and after some time and putting through some mock-ups of what I was kind of thinking, it all got approved in the end. And I went down to our historical center in town and worked with them, and they put down boxes and boxes and boxes of old photos that I searched through. I just really connected with this particular image I think it's from 1932, of the old steel mill, and I just thought how appropriate it would be to have something like this as a reminder for the community of who we are and where we came from. I'm so afraid of heights, so the scaffolding was a little scary for me with the swaying and the climbing, so we settled on a lift. So I rented a lift right here in town at Total Rental. I was either going to grid out the scene on the wall to get it big, which is what the old masters used to do when they were doing big murals or reliefs. And then I was talking to Jeff Shaler, who is the muralist down at Iron Hill, and he said, no, the best way to do it is to project it onto the wall. And I thought that's sort of brilliant. So I got up here one night, it was 10:30, and I spent until around 3 in the morning just outlining some of the major subjects so that I had a map when I was up there on the wall. I'd get up at 5, I would put on some coffee, head out the door by like 5:15 and down here by 5:30. Get all the stuff unpacked from my van and line it up on the curb. You have to have all your paints lined up and mixed before you go up. I'd go up on the lift and I'd just work sometimes for 6 or 7 hours just up there, bring my gallons of water, and the town would show up. Nancy down the road would bring little treats by a few times a week, and it was great. Before I started, I think I was most nervous or most anxious about the town's response, because this town is a vocal town and it loves its history. So from day one, people were driving by in their cars honking and waving and yelling out things. And then as the mural progressed and things started to fill in, what was really special and what I really look back as one of my favorite things about the mural is these folks that grew up here as children would stop by and wave me down, and I would chat with them about what they remember about the steel mill, and it was great because it wasn't just, hey, I remember being here and I saw the old mill. It was so colorful. They remembered the sights and the smells and being with family, and it always had to do with family. Like I was sitting with my grandfather watching the beams come out, or I remember when my husband would go off to work there and he'd come back with all of his buddies to our house and we'd have dinner, things like that. As an artist, you just want people to feel things and you just want them to connect with things. And so even if just one person brought a story like that, it would have been worth it to me, but to have so many people do that, something I'll never forget. Personally, I feel like I accomplished something so big, something I would have never thought I could do. So from a personal growth aspect, I just feel so full because I was able to do something so big and execute it sort of on target and how I planned it. I need a little break right now. But I loved the process, and I really enjoyed the surprises that came through it. And when you work up so close, you don't have that step back perspective, and you don't get that until you're down and back. So it was these little gifts every day when you would get down and you'd step back and you'd think, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. So yes, I would love to do murals down the road, but for now I'm going to take a little step back. Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for coming out today. I hope to see you all again around town. Thanks. Thank you.